Hi guys. Yep, now we are live. Oh,
Hi
okay, so that was
guys.
muted. Now it's on mute. Now we're live on
Now
YouTube.
we are live.
Hi. Oh,
Hi
okay, so that was
guys.
muted. Now it's on mute. Now we're live on
Now
YouTube.
we are
Testing.
live.
Why is it sounding like this?
Hi.
Hi guys. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure what's going on, so I'm going to double check on my phone and then we can start with today's topic if that's okay. Just for a minute there, okay, guys? And then we'll start. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining in as usual. And today we're talking about a very fantastic topic. You can already see the title of the video. It's example of critical analysis essay, right? And I think that makes all the sense in the world. So if you're ready, let's get this thing started. And I'm not sure. I want to be certain that okay. Yeah. So okay. Yes, everything is intact. I don't know what was wrong with the volume initially, but I want to be sure that everyone is going to get what I want to say. Welcome to today's video, and let me go live on Instagram so we can get started. And like the example state, like the topic stated, I want to tell you examples. I'll show you examples, life examples of critical analysis in an essay. So let's go live on Instagram. YouTube guys, wait. Let's get the Instagram guys here. And then we can get started. So we are live. Welcome, welcome Instagram guys. So right now I'm live on Instagram and I'm live on YouTube. So if you wanna join in on Instagram, you can join on YouTube. And very soon for my Instagram folks, I'm going to share my screen with you. Well, actually, I'm going to turn my camera so you can see my screen. I was trying to install an app today, but then it's not working. I don't know why. So um, today we're going to talk about critical analysis in an essay, and I'm going to show you an example, like a life example. So that sounds like what you want to see or what you're interested in, then please feel free to join. Hi guys, I see all of you. Thank you. Waving right back. Bye. Okay, welcome. So my YouTube guys are also live right now, so let's just get right to the topic of today. And what we're trying to do is show a life example of what critical analysis looks like in an essay, so that you don't just hear the word critical analysis and you're confused. I mean, over like over time I've spoken about critical analysis severally, and I have mentioned ways in which you can impute critical analysis. If you haven't seen the video, then you can please feel free to check it out. It's on my YouTube channel. For the Instagram guys, the link to that is in my bio, and for the YouTube guys, the link to that is in the description box, so make sure to check it out. So what I'm going to do is, for the Instagram guys, if you joined earlier, I said I would share my screen or I would turn my camera. Either pick one. Anyway, so let's get right to it. This piece of work that I'm about to show you guys is one that I used or I submitted during my postgraduate, my master's degree. So I was still a bit rusty then, but now I think I'm quite fine-tuned. I should say that. Well done, Buki. Well done. So let's get into this thing proper. Enough talks, right? So you already know, by if you're following me, you already know what critical analysis is. I mean, it's you bringing different points of views when it comes to a particular issue, a particular scenario, or a particular any topic whatsoever. You can always critically analyze it by bringing different points of different views together, different school of thought, by telling us differences, analyzing different findings. So there are so many things that critical analysis entails. It's not just comparison that is critical analysis. There is a lot more to it. So guys, Instagram guys, now I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And how am I going to do this now? I think I would have to 1 second guys, let me see if I can turn hello good. So let me see if I can turn this camera so that you guys will be able to view. Okay, yeah, right there. I hope that makes sense. The app I got that I was supposed to use in sharing wasn't working appropriately, so that's why there is a bit of an issue with this. And I hope this works fantastic, right? I hope that helps. I'm trying to set it up well so that it will show the right way it's supposed to. You guys think, is this okay? If you are on Instagram and you think this is okay, please let me know. Um, okay, this is actually more difficult than I thought. Right, guys? So, definitely next week, I'm going to make sure that the app is properly installed and I'll be able to share my screen properly instead of this archaic method that I'm using. All right, so let's get into this. Now, this is a piece of essay that I wrote concerning elder abuse. So we're going to try to highlight different areas where I think I might have used a bit of critical analysis, if that makes sense. All right, so that's it. Let's get started. I'm not going to read everything. I'm going to pick out specific parts because I mean I don't want to bore you guys forever. Hmm? Oh, thank you. You said it's okay. Thank you so much. All right. Elder abuse is a global dilemma that stayed hidden until the late 20th century, having profound consequences on the physical and mental health of the victims. It was called granny battering in 1975. So, what I'm trying to do here with all this is that I am giving a bit of history. All this is like a bit of history to the origin of the origin of elder abuse. That's all I've done here. And then I went ahead to now define what elder abuse itself is. A precise or generally accepted definition of elder abuse is lacking. It was defined in 1995 by Action on Elder Abuse UK as a single or repeated act or lack of appropriate action occurring within any relationship. Sorry, I lost track of what I was saying. Yeah, any relationship where there is an expectation of trust, which cause harm or distress to an older person. So you can see it's in quotation, so it's like direct quote, right? It is an infringement of their human right, with an estimate of 1 in every 6 older people experiencing abuse in the past year. A Greek philosopher was quoted by George Minoy saying, "Happy are they who die at the age of 60, since once painful old age has arrived, which renders man ugly and useless. His heart is no longer his heart is no longer free of evil cares." Right? So that said, this entire paragraph, there is not much critical. In fact, there is not really much critical. I don't think I can identify much of any critical analysis in it, except here, a bit of critical analysis here, which is here like this, like just a bit of it. But what I've done is a bit of introduction to introduce what elder abuse is and give a bit of history about how far elder abuse has come. Okay, so I still described a little bit in the second paragraph. I gave the types of elder abuse that we have, and after listing the types of elder abuse, I now started, although physical abuse, now let's start from here. Although physical abuse is the most measured type of elder abuse, is it clear on Instagram? Let me read it. So this is a bit rusty. Yeah. So although physical abuse is the most measured type of elder abuse, psychological abuse still has the highest prevalence of 11.6% and sexual abuse the lowest. You see, That I have given is a form of critical analysis. However, still going further with my critical analysis, physical abuse had a higher prevalence of 14.8% from a single study conducted in Nigeria. Although, do you get the point now? Like psychological abuse is the highest, but there is another study that has been conducted in Nigeria that showed that physical abuse is higher. That's critical analysis. That entire sentence is critical analysis. So going further, in 2011, a national estimate showed that about 1 in 10 elders suffer from a form of abuse in the United States of America, right? And this rate is higher in those institutionalized. Ignore my spelling. The prevalence recorded in population based elder abuse is underestimated, and this is because the victim tend to underreport the problem. So, this sentence again, that's some form of critical analysis. Your questions are absolutely welcome, by the way. If you have any question, please kindly let me know. So, that is another example of critical analysis. And the only reason why this is a form of critical analysis is because you have this because there. That means you're giving a reason to a particular findings. And the finding in this case is the prevalence recorded is underestimated because victims tend to underreport the problem. That's another form of critical analysis. So you see that when you say critical analysis, it's not some big stuff. It's not something that you that is out of this world that you can't figure out. So going forward, however, it is a major public health concern because that is another critical analysis. You're telling us the reason why it's a major public health concern. So I go ahead to give the statistics and I listed all that. To now take it a bit further, furthermore, I mean, I was overdoing it here as a master student I was. So I wrote furthermore, nevertheless. So I shouldn't have used these two following each other. I should have just chosen one. So I'll go with furthermore. Furthermore, there are limited data in relation to this problem and even lesser in developing countries, unlike other types of abuse, like child abuse. Can you see what I've done there? That is another critical analysis. So you are still analyzing the data that we have. So remember what I said that about each paragraph, what your paragraph must contain. So these are ways for you to express that. Now, let's go forward a bit and let me look for another area where critical analysis was insanely used by me. I mean, right now, I think I should be crowned the queen of critical analysis. Don't you think? Okay, jokes aside now, yeah. So I'm trying to look for a place. Yeah. So let's start with this paragraph. Let me place this down now. I think you can see that. Yep. So in 2009, Tanzania recorded 2,585 deaths of older women as a result of cultural belief in witchcraft. With regards to gender as a risk factor, different studies had varying conclusions as to the gender mostly affected. Now, this is the beginning of the critical analysis. I have stated that with regards to gender, this there are several studies. That's one, and they have different conclusions. That's another thing. So I will now go further to tell us what those conclusions are, putting them side by side to make them a form of analysis, right? To make those studies like a form to compare those studies analytically. Let me put it. Let me rephrase. Yeah. So whole 2017. I mean that's a weird name. Sorry. All 2017 stated that women were more abused than men. This has been further acknowledged by the Madrid International Plan of Action. Are you seeing how this is playing out? Stating discriminatory societal attitude towards women as the reason. Let's go a bit further. As in the critical analysis in this aspect is amazing. I can't believe, like, sometimes I look back at some of the work I've written and I can't believe I wrote it, but it's really amazing. Now here, whereas a study by Asiano 2010 stated the exact opposite, with men being the victim more often. Now, so contrary to all the above now that has been listed, poll 2012 and Neon 2017 recorded no significant difference in the rate of abuse between men and women. If you haven't watched my previous video on critical analysis, I think you need to watch it. Now, this is a perfect, as in, it's a textbook example of critical analysis. This, like, the easiest way for you to understand critical analysis. In this aspect alone, I have used three different school of thoughts. There's a school of thought that believes that women are abused more than men. There's another school of thought that, based on a study, right? There's another school of thought that believes that men are abused more than women. That's another school of thought. Now, there is the third school of thought that believes that neither men nor women are abused more than each other, that they are both abused equivalently. Now, that's a typical example of critical analysis. It has combined different school of thought. It has backed up some school of thoughts. What I mean by backup is, say for example here, the first statement says that women are abused more. It now backs it up that another study also, another body, which is, I mean, it's a reputable body, the Madrid International Plan of Action, has also backed up that same sentence that women are abused more than men. So there are also contrary views, and we put all that. So that makes it, that makes it make sense. Let me put it that way. So that said, elder abuse of older men or older women should be given some attention and treated equally because, I've told you, anyway, I say because, there's a form of critical analysis happening. Why should it be given more attention? See, you'll be wondering, like, how can because be a form of critical analysis? It sounds quite easy and simple, but look at it this way. What if I wrote it as elder abuse of older men or older women should be given the same attention and treated equally? Full stop. And then the next thing I write, as in the next sentence after that, will now be the cause of abuse are usually the same. There are two different sentences and then it's just beside each other. So that makes it quite descriptive. But to prevent it from being descriptive, it will now be elder abuse of older men or older women should be given same attention and treated equally because the cause of abuse are usually the same. Now that's the reason. So let's go a bit further. A systematic review by Ho 2017 concluded that caregivers report increased rate of elder abuse and that older adults in non-Western countries are victims more than those in Western countries. Also, the connection between child abuse and elder abuse remain an unclear speculation because there are no evidence to substantiate this claim. So when I make a point, I try to put the reason why that point is there. I try to put it beside it. If you go back a bit to that part where I said it's like a textbook explanation of critical analysis, if you go back there, if I had not written it like this to be critical, if it were to be descriptive, how will it look like? Now let me tell you how it will look like, right? So that would mean that I would say, with regards to gender as a risk factor, all 2017 claimed that women are more abusive than men. Full stop. Madrid International Plan of Action also claimed that women are more abusive. Women are abused more than men. Full stop. Do you see that? Like, just straight up like that. You're just giving us the point. Full stop. I just start again. Asieno 2020 stated that men are victims more than women. You see what I'm doing? I'm just giving the sentences. I'm not comparing. So that removes that element of critical analysis from the whole thing. So that's the whole point. That's what that's the point I'm trying to drive. So let me see if there is another paragraph that is quite distinctive like this, where we can identify some form of critical analysis. Okay. Let me just take a view of it. On the question of intervention. No, I want a textbook example. So let me just look again and be very sure. All right. So let's move forward a bit. Hmm. This intervention can be related to ecological model. Okay. Blah blah blah. This is a very long essay. I mean, a lot of research must have gone into this. Oh, by the way, I must tell you that I got a distinction in this essay. I mean, it's worth putting that out there so that you know that this is good stuff. Like, this is really good stuff. Okay, so let me use this example. Not quite classical like that other one, but it's there. That doesn't mean that the other parts don't have critical analysis. It just means that, I mean, it's not as obvious as it should be. But when you're reading it, you would know that there's critical analysis in it. And if you want me to upload this article, I might try to, if you leave a comment in the comment section telling me that you would like to have it, or you would like to read through it, so that you'll be able to get an idea. I mean, that's something I'm willing to do if you ask. But if you don't ask, nothing is going to happen. So that said, public health ethics as regards the interventions of elder abuse can be related to the stewardship model, which emphasizes the provision of special care by the state for the vulnerable, a category the older adult belongs to, and also aim to reduce inequality. This model gives the state justification, a form of ethical justification to create policies which must be monitored and followed. The factors associated with elder abuse interact in a complex way that makes it difficult for intervention decisions to be made by public health professionals and policymakers. The public health the public health interventions that is regarded as less invasive or intrusive, as in the case of awareness or education, should be used to achieve the desired result of prevention. On the other hand, now you see where all this my phrases comes in. So if you haven't downloaded that free phrase what I call it ebook now. It's not, it's a mini ebook or something. Yeah. If you haven't downloaded it, the link is in, for my Instagram guys, the link is in my bio. For the Facebook guys, the link is on the previous video on critical analysis. So make sure to check it out and download it. All these phrases helps you. It opens, it's like an opening that tells you, okay, this person is trying to say this, or this person is trying to say that. Do you get? Oh, Duchess, please upload. I'd like to have a read. Oh, by all means, I would upload and let you know. All right, I'll send you the link if that's okay with you. Okay, so that said, I mean, where did I stop? I've lost track of my thoughts. So on the other hand, that word on the other hand already shows that you're saying, aside from all this that I've mentioned, so it gives you some sort of opening that already tells the reader that, okay, this person has researched this thing. This person knows what she's talking about. Now, on the other hand, behavioral change faces difficulty of cultural sensitivity and public acceptability in order to ensure overall improvement and decreased inequality. All interventions must be carefully designed and monitored. So there's no way you will have a sentence that won't have critical analysis, right? So let me see if there's anyone I want that stands out that I want to go ahead and point out, or any sentence in particular that I want to point out to you guys. One second. Um, oh, blah, blah. I mean, you get the gist, right? Like this is the main. This is the main thing. The main thing is for you to get the gist of critical analysis, and I think that message is what I'm trying to pass across. Of course, I have seen a classical method and I have showed you. I mean, my mind is at peace that yes, you guys have gotten the main point I'm trying to pass. Critical analysis is right in front of you. And one other trick that I think I should tell you guys is when you pick up an article and you read it, and you're extracting information from it, there is no article that you read or you're trying to extract information from that doesn't have a form of critical analysis in it. And so what does that mean for you? That means you can always borrow critical analysis from whatever article you choose. Use their words. I'm not saying copy word for word. I'm saying when you paraphrase the same way they have written their piece of work. That way you cannot go wrong, and that way you'll be able to include quicker analysis. Now, to now top it up, imagine if you now have that free phrase bank thing that I was talking about. You now use phrases that already denotes that okay, this person is trying to critique. Then that makes it super easy for you. Look at here now. Let me start from this aspect. I hope you can see my cursor. Some evidence showed that MDTs were quite promising an approach, right? There are controversies regarding emergency shelter and protective services. This guy described it as a promising program. On the contrary, WHO suggested it might cause an increase in abuse of victims. Now, that's another critical analysis. So, there are two programs that have been suggested by two different bodies, one person, one article, and a renowned body. But they have two different by the time they all this by the time they decided to announce the function of it's the same program, but the function A thinks the program would be uh what's it called, would be detrimental to the adults. That's WHO now. While B thinks if done well, it will be advantageous to the adult. So you can see that that's two different school of thought. I mean, so that's two different types of function. So it's worth exploring and it's worth talking about. So that's exactly what critical analysis is. I mean, that's most of what critical analysis is. So that said, I think this pretty much covers it. So let's go to the conclusion. I just want to show you a bit of conclusion. I know I promised that I'm going to do a video on how to write a proper conclusion for a piece of work or something. But let me just read this conclusion so that you can see that there's no aspect of the work that doesn't have critical analysis. In conclusion, elder abuse is a pervasive, complex global issue that can be conquered if informed policy and legislation can be established based on valid and reliable information. It needs to be addressed at individual, societal, and governmental level. The interventions available were also developed in higher income countries. Unlike Unlike domestic violence and child abuse, elder abuse is being understudied. That's critical analysis. you've compared it to other forms of abuse. That's critical analysis. I mean, within that paragraph, it requires urgent attention as its effect leads to leads to long-lasting disabilities and increased mortality. Oh my God, did I proofread this thing at all? Anyway, I can see some errors. Long-lasting and increased mortality. Cultural views and attitudes towards elder abuse intervention remains quite unexplored. The ecological or socio-ecological model is a very useful framework for developing interventions at various levels. At present, elder abuse as a global problem requires an urgent, widely expanded research base using acceptable and standardized method, because this is the only way to develop an effective intervention. I mean, that's quite a long sentence. I mean, I won't advise anybody to write this quite. I would advise you to break the sentence into two, but you get the gist. Like this pretty much summarizes it. It tells you that elder abuse is a problem. It tells you why it is a problem compared to other forms of abuse. It tells you what needs to be done and how you need to do it, and other things that are important for you to take note of. That's summary. And then you give your very good references. So the main gist or the main point of this whole thing is that we have explained what elder abuse is. Okay, guys, we have explained what elder abuse is, and we have at least tried to show how critical analysis comes to play and the examples of critical analysis that you have, and that pretty much sums it up. That's critical analysis. It's not more than that. When you hear critical analysis, it's not something that is out of this world. I have so many. I keep referring to the materials I have. I have so many materials that will help you out if you are still struggling, and that's why I decided to at least show a life example of what critical analysis looks like, and then that way you will be able to understand how to implement it. And I think that's pretty much all I want to say today. All I want you guys to see. All I want to mention. So that's critical analysis. It's not more than that. It's all of this. And I will see you guys next. I mean, I go live on YouTube every Wednesday. I'm hoping I would extend that to Instagram as well if I'm able to sort out the app that I mentioned. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming on live. And if you want to still view this, it would be on my YouTube channel, and it will also be on my Instagram timeline as well. So feel free to check it out. So thank you guys. It's been a pleasure having you guys here, and check out the replay on my timeline, and I really appreciate it. Till I see you guys again, my Instagram folks, my YouTube folks, you already know. Make sure you put a smile on somebody's face. The same extends to you guys. Make sure you put a smile on somebody's face. Bye. Bye. Right, let's end this, guys.